Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about some more Ulta exclusive releases from ColourPop. This is the Rendezvous palette and the Wee Wee lip set. I already did another video featuring the Sweet Nothings palette and the Bisou Bisou Ultra Glossy Lip Bundle. I'm gonna link that in the description box, so make sure you go and check that one out as well. Today, we're just focusing on one palette and one gloss bundle. Let's start with the lips first. This is the Wee Wee Ultra Glossy Lip Set. It's priced at $16. These are full-size glosses, so this is a pretty decent deal considering that the full-size glosses are retail priced at $6 a piece. So getting 3 for $16 saves you $2. Of the 3 glosses in this set, only one is a new shade. So this mauve shade called Fantasia and this really bright orangey peach shade called PS are both currently available for sale on the ColourPop website. The more glittery gloss in this bundle called So Fresh is a new shade. In my last video, if you watch all the way to the end, I do some outtakes, and I mentioned in my outtakes that I couldn't tell if the glosses were scented. I was burning a Bath & Body Works candle, so it already smelled like sweet, yummy goodness in here anyway. But I made sure not to make that mistake again. These definitely have like a sweet vanilla scent to them. I've never noticed that with my other ColourPop glosses, so I don't know if that's sort of a special touch for these glosses in this bundle. I was wearing this shade Fantasia, which is one of the permanent colors from ColourPop, and this definitely has like a vanilla cookie kind of scent to it, so it's not very overwhelming. I just wanted to mention that because I finally was able to realize it was not my candle, it is this gloss. Aside from the special outer packaging, these do have the standard ColourPop gloss components, and they do have the little brush tip applicator. Fantasia and PS both have just a little bit of sparkle, and then the new shade is pretty darn glittery. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some lip swatches of all 3 of these glosses now, and then we'll get into the eyeshadow palette. Now let's talk about this Rendezvous palette. This is packaged exactly like all the other ColourPop palettes of this size. It's a heavy-duty cardboard and it does have a magnetic closure. There is no mirror inside here, but the shade names are printed inside next to the pans as well as on the back of the palette. Of course, we're seeing 12 eyeshadows in here. Only 5 of them are matte, the rest are metallic. This is a very heavily shimmery palette. Like all the other palettes this size, the Rendezvous palette is priced at $16 US. Like I noted in the Sweet Nothings palette, the Rendezvous palette does have quite a few repeat shades that were either previously released in other palettes or released as singles or both. There are 5 of those shades in this palette, so I'm just gonna quickly point those out to you. In case you're debating on getting this palette, you may find that you already have a lot of these shades. This one in the top corner is called My Treat, and it is currently available in the I Think I Love You palette. This is a really good inner corner highlight shade, by the way. This mauve medium brown over on the other top corner is called Want You Back, and this one is featured in the You Had Me at Hello palette. Next we go down to this bottom corner. The shade Two Birds is currently available as a single eyeshadow. This shimmery gunmetal gray on the bottom row here is called Never Never. This one was featured in the All I See Is Magic palette, which is no longer available, but it was from last year's holiday release. And then the matte black is from their permanent single shadow line. This one is called Let's Do It. We're gonna get into the palette swatches now. I'm gonna be swatching all 12 shades on the back of my hand with no primer down first. I'll do finger swatches on the top and then a corresponding brush swatch below. For my brush swatches, I'll be using my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush, and I'll clean the brush off in between each shade using my Vera Mona color switch. All right, here's the top row of the palette. We have a bright white shimmer called My Treat, a red shimmer called Our Secret. This one is definitely best applied with the finger. The brush just doesn't do quite as much with this one as it does compared to my treat. Next is a mauve pink matte shade called Style and Grace. And lastly is a medium warm brown called Want You Back. Here we're looking at the middle row of the Rendezvous palette. First is this matte red called Shake It Off. I think you can kind of tell here, this one has more of a dry texture compared to the other mattes, and it's just not quite as perfectly smooth. Next is a bright metallic orange called Catch, right next to a bright metallic aqua called Release, and lastly a soft shimmery gold called Fling. This is the very bottom row from the Rendezvous palette. First we have one of my favorite shades from ColourPop. This is a bright metallic yellow called Two Birds. Next, a deep warm matte brown called Textual. This one is Never Never. It's a shimmering gunmetal color. And lastly, a matte black called Let's Do It. Before we get into the tutorial using the Rendezvous palette, I want to do some swatch comparisons between this Rendezvous palette and the newly released Salvaje palette that ColourPop came out with in collaboration with Becky G. I'm going to show you some quick finger swatches side by side here, that way you can really see the shades on the skin next to each other. I do think these have the same general color scheme. However, the Rendezvous palette has a lot more metallic shades, where the Salvaje palette has more mattes. I also think that the Salvaje palette has a little bit more tonal cohesiveness. The shades just seem like they were made to go together more than the Rendezvous palette. At least that's my impression of it. So I think they are similar color stories, but I don't even really think you're gonna get the same eye looks out of these. If you just stuck with all the warm colors, you probably would, but I don't think they're that similar, especially when I think about the comparison that I did between the Sweet Nothings palette and the You Had Me at Hello palette. Those were more similar in color scheme and finishes and things like that than I think the Rendezvous and Salvaje palettes are. I think they're similar enough that you don't need both, but if you have both, I think you are going to get something different out of each one. Now that you've seen all the swatches, let's jump into a quick tutorial using the Rendezvous palette, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. You might be surprised when I tell you what I think about this palette. I like it, but I don't love it. Something about the shades just seems off to me. I think they were trying to shake up the color scheme a little bit, and it just seems like not quite right to me. It's not quite inspiring me. So I see they were going for that like warm neutrals with a pop of blue. We all know the formula for the palette. Something about this just isn't quite landing for me. I wish there were more mattes. I think I could get a lot more looks out of this if there were even 1 or 2 more matte options in here. I'm struggling to say what about it just doesn't hit the mark for me. I think this gray shade and the choice of the matte black just seem odd in this palette. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I just feel like these were kind of like an afterthought. Maybe if these 2 shades were replaced with like a matte orange and, I don't know, a matte bright blue, I don't know what I would do. I think I just wish that since the packaging is blue, I wish they had just gone more for the blues in here. I think the ColourPop customer is really looking for a blue palette, and I just wish that this was it. Quality wise, it's up to par with my other ColourPop palettes. It's a good palette, it's just not great to me. I much prefer my Salvaje palette. That is just more inspiring. Something about it just clicks. The shades make sense together, and it really comes together in a way that this just doesn't for me. That's just my personal opinion. Take it or leave it. All in all, good quality. I like the shades, I just don't love the shade combinations. I'm glad I have it in my collection. If for no other reason, I'm glad I could make this video for you. Personally, I would go for the Salvaje palette over this one, but if you're really, really into metallics, you need more shimmers, then you might prefer the Rendezvous palette since Salvaje has a lot more matte shades. Just something to consider. Now's the time when I want to hear what you think about these products. Do you like the gloss bundle? Do you like the palette? Are you like me? Do you prefer the Salvaje palette? Leave a comment and let us know your thoughts. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Life as a beauty blogger. It ain't all it's cracked up to be. That definitely smells like a cookie. This palette is priced. The Rendezvous palette is priced. Dang it. A sweet nothing. Why is this such a struggle? You act like you don't make videos literally all the time. It's fine. I'm fine. Oh no. Something sticky spilled on my vanity. Instead of just cleaning it up like a regular person, I just kind of tried to avoid touching it. I feel like that was not the right way to go. I do not stand by that move. You know when's the time to clean it? Not when it happens immediately, but like a week later while you're filming. That's the time. I'm killing this adulting thing. Is that better? A little bit. I've done so many freaking lip swatches over the past few days. My lips just hate me. More glitter. Just what a girl needs, more glitter. I think I've tried on too many glittery glosses in the past few days because they're just all starting to look the same to me. Is it just me? They kind of do all look the same, don't they? It's just glitter on your lips. What? I'm pre-filming everything for the end of the month. So where I will typically film and edit like 3 or 4 videos in a week, I'm now filming and editing like 2 or 3 a day. So I feel like a crazy person. I love lip balm. Thank you. Gotta go make more videos. Bye.